How can an Orthodox layman in America advance spiritually and go deep without a spiritual father? Very, very difficultly. I don't think that person should remain that way. If he remains that way and he's complicit, then he's definitely not going to make progress. If he's forced that and he can't find a spiritual father and he's being patient, that's another thing. God will help. But the minute he says, I don't need a spiritual father, he's dead. Because that's self-will and pride, and he's not going to make progress. Is a parish priest in the sacramental life sufficient for me? How important is a spiritual father for us? It's essential. It's essential. It's essential. It's everywhere. How are you going to make progress if you don't have a guide? Where in the life of the church, life of the world, do we make progress without a guide in serious things? Like, we always have guides that teach us something on some level, right? If we want to become a master craftsman, a master teacher, we go to people who've done that already. And in the church, that's always been the case, right? And then this whole question of obedience, confession, all of that, that's central to making progress spiritually. You say, well, I can't find a spiritual father. Keep looking. It is essential for you to keep struggling and keep looking and praying. Until then, God will help you, but go to confession often to a priest. Seek guidance often from spiritual fathers or priests or monastics, but beg God for a spiritual guide. Even if it's somebody on the other side of the country that you're only going to see twice a year, you need that reference. You need that obedience. You need that guidance, even in big picture stuff. That reference is essential. How can you, in the future, look to anyone else and say, listen to me, if you didn't sit at the feet and listen to the person? And how do you follow the saints if you don't have a spiritual father? How do you follow the Holy Fathers if you don't have a spiritual father? I don't see it. I don't see it happening. You've got to seek him out and rely on him. And many times it doesn't have to be someone who is some great, renowned spiritual father. I mean, Elder Epiphanius Theodoropoulos, spiritual father, was rather simple comparatively. He wasn't a great theologian or anything, but he was a simple, pious priest, and he did obedience to him. So, obedience is one of the greatest and most important spiritual feats that you can do. It's the most important thing. The Lord was obedient unto death. That's the example he gave us. How are you going to make progress if you're not obedient unto a spiritual father? How are you going to make progress if you're alone in the world and you do your will? Not, 24 hours a day, you do whatever you want to do. And you don't have to say, let it be blessed. You're not going to make progress. It's like 99% of the time, it's going to be very exceptional. And we're not those exceptions. Believe me, we are weak Christians today. Don't assume a lot. All the saints have said this. Elder Ephraim said it. Father Seraphim Rose said it. All the saints in America said, basically, stay low to the ground. Don't have big ideas about who you are, and seek out humility and simple and humble and obedient. That's who we need to be. That's where the spiritual life begins and thrives.